Thank you, Dalia and Penelope, for joining me. I'm so excited to hear how AI is shaping the professional services industry and specifically within your companies. So one of the things with AI is, speed and agility and driving decision making. How are you thinking about that, Penelope?
I'm talking from the lens of a company like Accenture, 46 countries, 750,000 people who have to be placed every single day. Being able to analyze the macroeconomic and microeconomic conditions of all of these different geographic locations, being able to synthesize the skills that all of our people have and how those are applicable in what's currently happening in those markets, these things used to take months. The advent of AI has really allowed us to predict what's going to happen in these locations and move supply ahead of demand. It's a very complicated dance, but for us, it's a real impact.
AI and skills has been such an inflection point for us. It's so critical in terms of how we think about putting people on projects and the right person at the right time. How do you guys think about how you're innovating and how you're using skills or AI to drive differentiation in professional services?
I think what's been pleasantly surprising is employees are much more acceptable of getting just career exposure. It's more around, hey, can AI suggest for me different ways that I can learn and grow? And some of that could just be peer matching, mentoring, gigs, project work, and of course, like open roles, right? Internal mobility to move to different roles across functional areas. How do we inject kind of that AI across not just our recruitment processes, but then doing things like nudging across an employee's life cycle so that they get to learn and grow in different moments of their career.
We're finally in an era where we can communicate intent through AI, and that opens up a whole new world of skills and capabilities. We can think about things like generating really effective performance feedback for someone based on a broad variety of inputs, not just what the person writing the feedback happens to know off the top of their head. I think it allows for a richer employee experience. That is the key to attracting and retaining the absolute best talent, no matter what industry you're in.
It's spanning across the employee life cycle, which is fascinating. We can actually see how some of the machine learning and the AI responses have been that really give somebody a personalized experience.
So Penelope, you've had some amazing success bringing AI into the company. How are you actually evaluating success and measuring it in different ways? How do you know that you've hit the mark?
So at a micro level, you manage it just like you manage any other part of your business. But at a macro level, it's a different story. This is a transformative technology. It is going to change the way that people work and live. And talking about, instead of the costs associated with it, talking about the ROI value on having a workforce that's ahead of the curve. If you bring this down to a cost discussion, it's just noise. But if you lift it up to the concept that skilling your people to actually perform new and different types of work is a necessary entry into more competitive markets, you're having a whole different conversation about the priority that companies are willing to put on this in their budgets, I think, Sheri.
I think companies are overwhelmed on how much I need to do. There's a lot of work to potentially clean up this architecture. How do I know what the skills are? Where do I start? To me, where I've seen success is just start, right? Start somewhere, gain some of that learning, and then as you learn, you're continuing to progress. It's more about opening your creativity and curiosity around, well, if it can do that, what else could it do? And that's where I think we're going to have that human side of things where it can spark some real good creativity and possibly spread that across the organization. So what works maybe in one part of the business probably could work somewhere else. So I'm hopeful that you're going to see a lot more collaboration between, breaking down silos in organizations.
This is pushing the power of creation in the hands of the average employee, which means that there is no cap on the infinite number of good ideas that we can get.
I think that's a perfect way to end it in terms of creating equity across different worker groups. You both have been outstanding to have a discussion with. Thank you for your insights.
Thanks for having me.
It's been fun. Thanks, Sheri.